नमस्कार कृषी मित्रांनो, कृषीरत्न ऍग्रिकल्चरल ऑनलाईन क्लासेसमध्ये मी गणेश पवार आपल्या सर्वांचं हार्दिक स्वागत करतो। तर आज आपण सॉइल फॉर्मेशन हा टॉपिक बघणार आहोत। सो लेट वी गो। व्हॉट इज सॉइल फॉर्मेशन? Soil formation is the process comprising of the two stages. Which are these? First is weathering of rocks into regolith, and the second stage, that is conversion of regolith to true soil. Okay. Soil formation is the process comprising of the two major steps, and these stages are two consecutive and overlapping stages in which the rocks on weathering turns into regolith. As we know, regolith is the unconsolidated mass of rocks after weathering process, disintegration and decomposition, which turns into regolith, and this regolith on subsequent various soil forming factors and the processes turns into the true soil. Okay, so here in case of soil formation, this regolith is considered as a parent material in the soil forming processes. Okay, this regolith is considered as a parent material in the soil formation process. So one by one we are going to discuss all these factors. Before that, if we will discuss the soil formation in an equational form. So okay, so the process of this soil formation, if we show in a equational form, then it can be seen as rocks on weathering turns into regolith, which is a parent material for the soil forming processes, and this regolith on influence of various soil forming factors and soil forming processes turns into the true mature soil. Okay, true soil, true mature soil. What is true mature soil? Mature soil in the sense the soil which consists of a well profile with distinct horizons. Okay, the soil developed as a well profile with distinct horizons, that is horizon A, B and C. This soil is called as well matured soil. Okay, so equationally we can show this soil formation process when rocks on various physical and chemical weathering turns into regolith, and the regolith on application or influence of several soil forming factors and soil forming processes turns into the true soil. So the part up to this we have seen in our previous lecture, that is weathering of rocks, and now we have to see or we have to discuss the part from this regolith to true soil. Okay, so in this we are going to see majorly soil forming factors and soil forming processes. So first of all, we are going to see soil forming factors. Okay, so friends, these soil forming factors are much important in an objective type oriented exam point of view. So first of all, the scientist in 1889, the scientist Dokuchiyo, as you know, Dokuchiyo, the father of soil science, has firstly shown or described that there are several factors which are contributing to the soil formation process. So according to him, he showed that factors in an equation. So his equation is S is F of Cl, O and P. Okay, so according to him, the climate, then organism, and then parent material, these three factors are responsible, or these three factors are contribution in the soil forming processes. Okay, so here in objective point of view, you have to remain this year and the scientist, that the first scientist who give the description about the various soil forming factors is Dokuchiyo. Okay, so then in 1941, the scientist known as Jenny, as we know, the famous Jenny's equation we have seen in our first semester course of fundamentals of science. So according to Jenny in 1941, in his equation, not 3, but there are 5 or more than 5 factors which are responsible for the soil forming processes. So those factors are CL. So according to Jamie, here there are 5 factors which are responsible for the soil formation processes. So if we elaborate this equation, S stands for any soil property. S stands for any soil property, whether it may be soil pH, soil EC or clay content, etc., etc. F stands for function. Then Cl stands for climate. Then R stands for relief or topography. O stands for organism. P stands for parent material, and T stands for time. And this these factors are the factors apart from this which also contribute in the soil formation processes, like storms, then fire, etc., etc. Okay. So according to Jamie's equation, these factors are responsible for the soil forming processes. Okay. Then these soil forming factors, again, one scientist come, and the scientist name as Joffre. Okay. The scientist Joffre has categorized these soil forming factors into 2 categories. We have it active factors and passive factors. Okay. So according to Joffre, these soil forming factors are mainly categorized into active factors and passive factors. What does it mean? What is meant by active factors? Active factors are nothing but the factors which provides energy. In any of the form, whether it may be in the water form or it may be in the heat form. Okay, so the factors which contribute or which gives energy in the soil formation processes, those soil factors or soil forming factors are categorized under the active factors. Then what is meant by passive factor? Passive factors are nothing but the factors which provide source and the condition which is favorable for the soil formation process. So here passive factors behave as a source or the base material in the soil formation process, and on this base material, these active factors, by applying energy, react with these passive factors and turns this base material into the soil. This is all about the classification of various soil forming factors according to Joffre. So which are those factors? So in case of active factor, Joffre classified climate and organism into the active factors and parent material, relief or topography, and time in an passive factor. Okay. So one by one we are going to see this each factor. Okay. So the first factor which is responsible for the soil formation processes is climate. Okay. So friends, this climate factor is the most influential factor in the process of soil formation. As we know, the climatic factors such as rainfall or water. Rainfall or water. More scientifically here, temperature or heat. Okay. These are the major factors which contribute to the soil formation processes. How? So here, as we know, in humid regions, okay, in humid regions, means here we know the annual precipitation, okay, the annual precipitation is more than that of the potential evapotranspiration of that soil. Okay. Here, the loss of water in the form of evaporation and also the transpiration. Okay. Evaporation and transpiration, the precipitation, the amount of precipitation is more than that of the potential evaporation in the humid region. So hence here, suppose this is a soil in a humid region. So as there is a more precipitation, the base ions, okay, so the base ions or base ions get leached down, okay, get leached down from the surface layer, and thus the soil acidity of the surface layer is increases, and hence in humid regions mostly acidic soils are formed. So this is how the precipitation or rainfall affect the soil formation processes in the humid region. Okay, and at the opposite of this, in an arid region. Okay, in an arid region, as you know, in an arid region, the annual precipitation is less than that of the potential evapotranspiration. So hence, as you know, the potential evapotranspiration is more, so the water is lost in the form of vapor, and these base ions get accumulated in the surface, and hence the pH of the soil is increases and it turns into the formation of basic soils. Okay, it turns into formation of basic soil. So this is how the rainfall or water factor of the climate contribute or influence the soil formation process or different soil formation. Now let us come to the temperature. Okay, so according to the scientist Van 't Hoff, or according to the Van 't Hoff's law, each 10 degrees Celsius rise in the temperature leads to fasten the reaction in soil by 2 to 3 folds or times. Okay, so according to Van 't Hoff, when there is each 10 degrees Celsius rise in the temperature, then the chemical reactions that occur in the soil get increases or fastened by 2 to 3 times. Okay, so how? So as you know, as temperature increases, then the favorable environment up to certain limit. Okay, I am telling up to certain limit, that is optimum temperature. Then in soil, as you know, soil reactions are facilitated by various microorganisms. So as temperature increases, then the favorable environment for these microorganisms is get happen, and then the soil reactions get increased, soil chemical reactions get increased, and due to these chemical reactions or chemical decomposition of the mineral matter of the rocks, the soil get fragmented and fine texture soil is formed. So this is how the temperature factor of the climate contribute to the soil formation processes. Okay, so friends, here the effect of climate on the soil formation process is of two types, that is direct effect and indirect effect. Okay, so directly, as we know, directly climate provides direct energy supply to the soil formation process in the form of water or in the form of heat. Okay, and in case of indirect effect, this climate determines the action of flora and fauna into the soil. So as you know, this floral and faunal activities in the soil leads to the chemical decomposition of the rocks and minerals. So the action of this climate is of two types, that is direct, so directly provide the energy in the form of water only, or indirectly, that is indirectly control the action of flora and fauna activity into the soil. So this is how the climate factor influence the soil formation processes, and this is the major and most significantly influence factor in the soil formation process. So this is the first active factor. Then we will go to the next active factor, that is organism. Okay, organism or vegetation, or more collectively we can call it as a biosphere. Okay, so here the organism or vegetation. So in shortly, as objective point of view, we will discuss there are four major factors under this heading organism, that is microorganisms in the soil, then various animals in the soil, then vegetation, and then action upon man. Okay, so these are the active factors under the category organism. So as you know, this microorganism decompose the organic matter. Okay, organic matter, and this organic matter secretes during decomposition secretes some acids and salts. Okay, and these acids and salts takes part in the chemical weathering processes of the rocks and form ultimately the true soil. So this microorganism majorly takes part in the humidification process and mineralization process of the soil. Okay, humidification, that is formation of humus from the organic matter, that is formation of well decomposed colloidal matter in the soil, after the decomposition of organic matter. Then in case of mineralization, as you know, various bacteria, fungus like Nitrobacter, Nitrosomonas, they make the nutrients available to the plants in their absorbable form. This is what the mineralization is. So here microorganisms contribute to the humidification and mineralization process of the soil formation. So next, in case of animals, okay, as you know, burrowing animals, they burrow the soil and make some cavities into the soil, and that's why the physical structure of the soil gets disturbed and it turns into the fine texture soil. That's how the soil are formed. Okay. In case of vegetation, as you know, various higher plants, the roots of higher plants get penetrate into the soil, and thus the cracks are developed and the water get percolate into that cracks. And as you know, water is the most influential physical agent in the soil formation process, and that's how the soil is formed. Then in case of man, the developing actions of the various developing actions of the man, that is various major projects, then construction of buildings and all that. Also in case of agriculture point of view, the irrigation. Due to this, these are the active factors which contribute to the soil formation processes. Okay, so this is the second factor or second active factor which contribute to the soil forming processes according to Jenny or Joffre. Okay, now we will turn to the passive factors. Okay, so passive factors, as you know, passive factors behave as a base material, or they provide the source and the condition for the soil formation processes. Okay, so these passive factors, in which the first factor is parent material, and this parent material is the major factor in the soil formation processes, or most prominent influential factors in the soil formation processes. How? So this parent material decides the type of soil formed and the rate at which the soil is formed. Okay. Objective may be asked here, that is the type of soil and the rate at which the soil is formed is majorly depends upon which factor, that is the parent material. Okay. So how it is how it influences the soil formation processes. So as you know, if there is basalt rock, okay, if there is basalt rock, means parent material, then after various soil forming processes, it turns into the red soils of ultisol order or black cotton soil, as in our Maharashtra, that is of vertisol order. Okay, if there is acid igneous rocks, then light texture podzolic soils are formed. Okay, if there is basic igneous rocks, then fine texture clay soils are formed. Okay, so this is how this parent material influences the soil formation process, and it decides the type of soil formed and the rate at which the soil is formed. Okay. Now, after weathering, as we know, different mineral elements are released from the rock fragments, and these mineral elements released contribute to the various soil forming processes. So how? So if there is silicon and aluminum is present, then it forms the clay mineral. Okay, it forms the clay mineral, that is secondary minerals. Okay, as we know, in case of clay minerals, there are silicon tetrahedral sheets, aluminum octahedral sheets are there. We will discuss in detail it in our next lecture. Okay, so if there is ferrous and manganese elements are there, then it imparts red color to the soil. Okay, it imparts red color to soil. Also, it takes part in the oxidoreductive reactions in the soil. Okay, it takes part in the oxidoreductive reactions in the soil. Then, if there is sodium and potassium ions in there, they act as a dispersing agents of the soil colloid. Okay, they act as a dispersing agents of the soil colloids. Okay, what is dispersion? Dispersion is the repelling action into the soil. So by taking example, we will discuss it. Suppose this is a soil colloid, okay, having positive charges on it, and suppose this is a sodium ion is present. This is also positive charge, and due to this positive, as we know, the positive charge gets repels and they didn't connect with each other, and this is what the dispersion effect is. So the dispersion effect in the soil is contributed by this sodium and potassium ions. Then in case of calcium and magnesium, as you know, calcium and magnesium behave as a cementing agents in the soil. So this calcium and magnesium ions brings about the flocculation action. Okay, flocculation action. Flocculation means aggregation of the rock fragments, and which make the soil structure more stable and suitable for the crop growth. So this is how the parent material contribute to the soil forming processes. Okay. Now we will go to the second factor, that is relief or topography. Okay. Relief or topography. What is relief or topography? So friends, here relief or topography are synonymous term. We can say it as a synonymous term. It is nothing but the configuration of the land surface. Okay. So whether the land surface is elevated or whether it is shallow, likewise. So according to FAO in 1990, this FAO, as per its guidelines, has given different categories of topography on the basis of slope. So here we will discuss it one by one. So here is the slope and the type of land. So if the slope is raised in the between 0 to 2%, then we can call that land as a flat topographic land. Okay, flat to almost flat. म्हणजेच टोटल सपाट मध्ये जो आहे त्याचा स्लोप 0 to 2%. If the slope ranges between 2 to 5%, then we call it as a gently undulating topographic land. Okay, gently undulating topographic land. Gently undulating topographic land म्हणजे काय, तर कमी प्रमाणात उंच सरळ भाग असलेली जमीन. त्याच्यानंतर if the slope is range between 5 to 10%, then the land is undulating. Undulating म्हणजेच काय, उंच सरळ पण जरा जास्त प्रमाणात. त्याच्यानंतर if the slope ranges between 10 to 15%, then we called it as a rolling topographic land. Rolling topographic land म्हणजे काय, तर बघा, suppose this is a slope. Okay, so if we put one of the object here, it will roll down along its slope. So this is how, this is rolling topographic land. Then if the slope ranges between 15 to 30%, okay, if the slope ranges between 15 to 30%, then we called it as a hilly topographic land or hilly area म्हणजेच काय, तर डोंगराळ भाग. ओके. त्याच्यानंतर if the slope of the land ranges more than that of the 30%, okay, if the slope is more than 30%, then here the slope is 30% and the height of elevation म्हणजे त्या जमिनीचा जो उंच भाग आहे, it ranges up to 300 meter. Okay, it ranges up to 300 meter. Then the land is, or the topography is called as steeply dissected. And if the slope is more than 30% and the height or elevation ranges more than 300 meter, then we call it as a mountainous. म्हणजेच काय, तर पर्वतीय भाग. Okay. So these are the different types of topography according to the FAO guidelines, which are given in the 1990. So according to this topography, how these topographic types influence the soil forming processes. So we will discuss here one by one. So soil formation on the flat surface. Okay, soil formation on the flat surface. As you know, suppose this is a flat surface, then the rainfall which falls on this land, then the water get percolated into the soil. More and more amount of the water is percolated into the soil, and this water contribute as a source of energy in the soil forming processes. and thus the thick layer of the soil with distinct horizons of the profile is developed. So on the flat surface, distinct soil is developed with distinct horizons and well prepared profile with a thick layer of soil. Okay. So then on the undulating topography. Okay. On undulating topography म्हणजे काय तर उंच सगळं भाग बघा. तर याच्यामध्ये काय होतं, when precipitation or rainfall falls, then at this elevation, due to surface runoff, the water get flow down. Okay. So along with this flow, the soil particles form or which are going to form get flow along with this, and that's why here the gentle structure or stable structure is not developed here, and due to this here the stony core structure soils are developed. Stony and core structure soils are developed, and there are no distinct horizons are developed at this undulating topographic surface. Okay. Now the third topographic surface at which how the soil is formed. So formation of soil in the depressions. Okay. Formation of soil in the depressions. Depressions म्हणजे काय तर खोलगट भाग. ओके. तर खोलगट भागात माझं काय होते तर प्रेसिपिटेशन झाल्यानंतर ते जे वॉटर आहे ते या डिप्रेशन मध्ये येते आणि इथे जास्त स्टोर होते. त्याच्यामुळे काय होते या भागातलं व्हिजिटेशन इन्क्रीज होते. ओके. व्हिजिटेशन इन्क्रीज झालं म्हणजेच काय तर ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर इन्क्रीज झालं, आणि या ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर इन्क्रीज झालं त्याच्यामुळे याचा मायक्रोवेल ऍक्शन होऊन याचं म्हणजे डिकम्पोज होऊन ह्युमस वगैरे वगैरे जे ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर डेव्हलप होते आणि ते डिकम्पोज होऊन त्यातून वेगवेगळे ऍसिड्स आणि सॉल्ट्स तयार होतात, आणि ऍसिड्स आणि सॉल्ट्स तयार झाल्यानंतर हे जे ऍसिड्स आणि सॉल्ट्स आहेत जे सिक्रेटेड आहे ते सॉइल फॉर्मेशन प्रोसेसला कॉन्ट्रीब्युट करतात. ओके. तर इथे डिप्रेशन्स मध्ये बघा जास्त प्रमाणात व्हिजिटेशन असल्यामुळे जास्त प्रमाणात ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर असतात, त्याच्यामुळे इट इम्पार्ट्स डार्क कलर टू द सॉइल. ओके. इट इम्पार्ट्स dark color to the soil. So the soils formed into the depressions are majorly are of dark colored soils. Okay. Now we will see the effect of exposure of sunlight on this soil formation processes. So friends, here if the exposure of sunlight is more in the southern region, as we know, due to the exposure of sunlight, the temperature get increases and it contributes to the soil forming processes. As compared to southern region, there is somewhat less amount of exposure of sunlight into the southern regions. Okay, so there will be less soil formation as compared to the southern region. And in case of eastern and western exposure, it contributes intermediate between this southern and northern exposure of sunlight. Okay. So this is what all about the relief or topographic factor. Now we will discuss the last factor, that is time. Okay. So what is time? Time is nothing but the time required for conversion of regolith to the true soil. Okay. So this time period from conversion of regolith to the true soil is considered as a time in the process of soil formation, and the time taken by the nature, okay, the time taken by the nature to convert the regolith into the true soil is considered as a pedologic time. Okay. Pedologic time. The time taken by the nature to convert the unconsolidated mass of rock or a regolith or a parent material to convert it into the true soil is the pedologic time. Okay. आता बघा याच्यामध्ये ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ टाइम जे वेगवेगळे वेदरिंगच्या स्टेजेस आहेत त्या डिफाईन केलेल्या आहेत. तर ह्या सुद्धा ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह पॉइंट ऑफ व्ह्यू खूप महत्वाच्या आहेत. तर बघा पहिली स्टेप आहे इनिशियल स्टेज. ओके. इनिशियल स्टेज ऑफ वेदरिंग. इनिशियल स्टेज ऑफ वेदरिंग मध्ये काय तर अनवेदर्ड पॅरेंट मटेरियल असते. अनवेदर्ड पॅरेंट मटेरियल म्हणजे काय तर वेदरिंग अजून स्टार्ट झाली नाही. त्याच्यानंतर सेकंड स्टेज आहे ज्युवेनाइल. Okay. Second stage is juvenile. In juvenile stage, weathering has not started, but still some of the minerals are not get decomposed. Okay. Now the third stage, that is virile stage. Okay. In virile stage of weathering, easily weatherable minerals are get decomposed, quickly, and some minerals which are resistant to the weathering, still they are in their original form. Okay. Now the fourth stage, that is senile stage. In case of senile stage, the decomposition of the mineral go to its final stage, and only some part or more tough mineral which are resistant to the weathering, as we take example quartz, they didn't get decomposed here in senile stage. And last stage, that is the final stage. Final stage means what? All disintegration and decomposition is completed, and that regolith, it turns into the distinct horizon, that is A, B and C, that is distinct soil is formed. So these are the 5 stages of the weathering in the soil formation process according to its time, that is initial, juvenile, virile, senile and final. So these stages are very much important. In each step what happens, they may be asking in an exam. Okay, so this is what all about the soil forming factors. Okay, so on the in case of soil forming processes, we will discuss in a later lecture. Okay, thank you.